frankly, I don't know yet what the future of learning design is. I just feel that something is dramatically changing, and coming from training design, meaning like organizing training days, classical, teacher in front, facilitating training. We're moving away from that. We have moved away from that quite a long time ago, but it's going further and further. So now with the coming of social media, with the acknowledgement that workplace learning is very important, the more and more results that show that informal learning is far more important in a person's life, professional life, than formal training. Where is learning design going then? And what I find a very fascinating idea was launched by Jay Cross. He calls it learnscape design. So it's the whole idea that we do not need to focus on a plan on how training is going to work or how it's going to evolve. We need to find a way to design opportunities for people, places where people can learn, not knowing exactly what they are or when it will happen, and being okay with the fact that the outcome might be not what we expected and might be very different for different people. It's also something that I found very interesting to see that at the ASTD this year, people were struggling with a lot, saying that okay, we assess that Workplace 2020 will look entirely different. This will pose new challenges to leaders. So consequently, our leadership development programs need to change. So we need to head more towards experiential learning and have people share and make sure that working and learning is closer together. And at the same time, they're figuring out how we're going to measure that, whether we've obtained the objectives. So making an inquiry about that, or actually posing a question there, made actually very clear that people are very afraid of the fact that the outcome of training, the outcome of learning, a learning process might be very different for very different people and even for organizations. Which is funny, because the whole idea of learning design as a learnscape design and experiential learning has been existing, at least in Flanders, for over more than 30 years in kindergarten education, where we actually moved away from, decades ago, training kids to creating an environment that's playful, that's interesting, where they can share, where they can discover, and where each of them can develop their own talents and find their way. At the same time, not forgetting that there's something as general objectives. So maybe we should be learning something from kindergarten education.